Hey, 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 welcome to PlayPSVR, the podcast. This is your host, Adam. That was, if you didn't know, Fat Albert. And I'm here with someone who is beautiful, not fat, and his name is not Albert. My co-host, Alex.
Hey,
How you doing tonight, Alex?
I'm doing good. You know, it's allergy season, so I apologize to everybody if I'm too sniffly. And Adam, it's been a while since you've seen me in person, so you might take back the not fat thing. But if you have seen me recently and you think I'm not fat still, then I appreciate that. I'll take that as a compliment. So thank you. And your impression was beautiful, as was all of your impressions that I've heard you do.
So, did you actually think we had Fat Albert on the podcast?
Yeah, I mean, for a second I was like, "Whoa, Adam's pulling out all the stops," and we got some real weight behind this thing.
Haha! Yeah, I see what you did there. Wait.
Yeah, it was an accident, but thanks.
Fat, yeah, I like that. I like that. So, right off the bat, I want everybody to know that I am a 100% complete amateur, whereas you, Alex, are a pro.
Yeah,
You're a PlayStation Pro.
I'm a PlayStation VR Pro now. It's official. I've upgraded to the PlayStation Pro. I saw a deal on the internet. I think it was like a typo on eBay or something. I don't know why it didn't go, but I got a PlayStation Pro basically brand new for a pretty good price, and I sold my original. So I'm a professional now, Adam, and you're a joke. You're an amateur, and you're just phoning it in.
I am. So what I want right off the bat, what I want to do, because we've talked about switching before, and I really am on the fence, so I want you to tell me, I want to know absolutely everything. I want the details to be so dirty that they're dirtier than a prostitute who's at the Vegas Strip, and then the brothel, and then a Pilot gas station parking lot to New York City, and then back. I want them to be that dirty. I want to know how you got it, approximately what price you would pay for a PS Pro, how you sold your original one, what games you played, how do you transfer, like your files, games. I want to know it all, man. I want you to convince me right now to get a Pro. Or if you don't think it's worth it, tell me not to. But tell me your impressions.
Okay, so if you want all the details, I can try to go into those details. Basically what happened was I saw it on eBay for $300. And that's a really good price. I also knew that if I didn't like it, I could flip it for like $400. So that was a no-brainer right there. I can buy it and then try to sell it if it doesn't seem that great. And then right after I bought it, I immediately had buyer's remorse before it even got here, thinking, oh, I really shouldn't be dropping $300 on a video game console. But it made things a little bit better because I saw that GameStop had a deal where you could trade in your original PlayStation 4 and get $180 cash. Like, they had some deal where store credit was equal to cash, and they were offering $180 for PlayStation 4s. I had the original fat one, 500 gigabyte, the most basic version you could have. So I was like, yeah, I can at least, that just breaks it down to like $120 for the upgrade, which, may or may not be worth it depending. But then I decided if GameStop is paying for $180, then I could probably just sell it on my own for a little bit more. So I ended up selling it to somebody on OfferUp for $200. So it's been about $100 for the upgrade for me. But the reason I wanted to get a Pro, aside from everybody says it makes VR better, and I'll get to that later, I recently got a 4K TV because my old TV broke, and I was just wondering, does it, the Pro is for 4K TVs, and I play enough video games, I'd like to see if I have the ability to see what a 4K game looks like. So, brought it home, I did the transfer, and this was really cool. I didn't know about this. If you have your old PlayStation 4 and you get a Pro, you can connect them with a LAN cable, and it'll transfer everything from your old PlayStation to your new PlayStation automatically. So I was concerned because I have a USB drive that I use to store a bunch of my games, and I have basically the console itself is full of games. And so I thought I was going to have to re-download all the games, and that's like, 1.5 terabytes worth of data. That would take, 4 or 5 days to download everything. So I was scared of that. But luckily with this LAN cable thing, it took like maybe an hour to transfer everything over. And now my PlayStation Pro works like, my original one did. No difference there other than now everything's in a higher resolution. Am I going too fast? Do you have any, am I hitting all the points for you, Adam?
So far, I feel like I'm pretty happy. I'm also pretty cheap. So if I have to pay more than there's absolutely no way I would pay more than 350. 300, I feel if I got one for 300, I would be pretty happy. I'm a I'm a little surprised on the PS4 original. 200 bucks. I mean, I haven't been really shopping around, so I guess that's a pretty good amount. I mean, do you think you could ask for more, or do you think that's about the running price, or what would you expect for like the average person?
Yeah, so depending on the condition, I keep my consoles in really good condition. I had one of the original boxes it came in, so it was easy for me to box up. And my controllers aren't chewed to pieces like you see sometimes on these secondhand selling places. The controllers are all destroyed. So it was pretty easy for me to want to ask a decent amount of money for it. But really the only place you're competing against is GameStop. If you can sell the PlayStation for cheaper than GameStop sells it, then you have a competitive price. I think GameStop sells the PlayStations for like 500. The 500 gigabyte they sell for like 250, which seems like a lot. I know they used to sell them for 200, so I don't know what's happening. Maybe they're like phasing PlayStation 4s out or something, or they're hard to come by. But 250 is what they sell, so you could sell yours for 200, maybe 220, something like that. You just got to make sure you include a controller as well. And then if you throw some games that maybe you don't play anymore on top of that, then people will be more enticed to buy your product.
Okay, nice. And it's good to hear that like switching is easy. I always wondered how you would do that because it seems the whole thing with like the PlayStation is weird. Like the fact that you have to have a disc but still download, and then there's little things there. But I'm glad it's really easy. All you have to have is an Ethernet cable, hook it up, and off you go. So sweet. Okay, so far I'm pretty happy. So it seems like the transition of actually setting it up is pretty easy. So now, what games have you played? What's been your actual experience with playing on the Pro?
Yeah, so I'll go outside of the scope of the podcast a little bit. When it was shipping in, I did a little research to see what games look best on the Pro, just flat games, and one of them was Ratchet and Clank, which, hey, it was a free game like last month for PlayStation Plus. So once I got it and I set it up, that was the first game I tested it out with because I've heard that's one of the best games to play on the Pro. And it is a very noticeable difference jumping from just the standard 1080p to 4K. You get like some games you just get like a upgrade in the frame rate, which if you can jump from 30 frames per second to 60 frames per second, it makes things look a lot smoother. So that's cool if you just do that, and I think it can do that on a lot of games. But some games are naturally really good, and for 4K they're designed to have some 4K graphics, and Ratchet and Clank was one of them. Putting it on, I was pretty blown away at how like clear and pretty and smooth, and it looked wonderful. So there's that. If you're into flat games, a lot of these flat games, hey, God of War just came out, and I'm sure it looks amazing in 4K. I haven't tried it yet, but I really want to. But you don't care about that, Adam. I know you don't play these flat games. I don't even know if you have a 4K TV, but
sure don't.
So the big thing is I've heard it said before that the PlayStation VR was codename Morpheus, and the PlayStation Pro was codename Neo, and that's a whole like Matrix tie-in with Neo and Morpheus and stuff. I don't know how true that was, that they designed these consoles, or the console and the VR, around each other. But I will say that just a little bit that I've done, it does have a pretty dramatic effect on the VR games that I've played. So I've played, recently I've played Drive Club, I've played Wipeout, I've played Resident Evil, and what else did I play? There was another game. Oh, I played, one we'll talk about later, Super Amazeballs. And I use this as an opportunity to try out the Resident Evil DLC, Not a Hero, that came out, and I haven't tried it since it came out. It's that free DLC. And I played a little bit of the beginning of Resident Evil 7, and I don't know, maybe I'm just a wuss and I haven't, played Resident Evil in a while, so I don't have my nerve up. But it was terrifying in a seemingly different way. And like I said, it might just be because I'm not used to it. But I think what happens is, so if you remember when you play Resident Evil, if you turn off the blinders, you know how when you're like looking straight ahead, things are clear, but in your peripheral vision, things are kind of pixely. Do you remember that?
I definitely turned the blinders off. I don't remember if it was on the periphery. I mean, I remember some stuff being just a tad bit blurry. I mean, I thought the resolution was good to begin with. So, I didn't see a weakness there, but some things, I guess, off to the distance, I've noticed, not only with Resident Evil, but other games, does tend to be blurry.
Yeah, so I noticed. I remember in Resident Evil when I first played it because you're outside in the beginning, so that's kind of a big environment, and it's kind of taxing for the device to pull off in VR. So I remember the first time I played Resident Evil, I was kind of underwhelmed because it was like, oh wow, this looks really like grainy and pixely. It looks kind of bad, but I knew it was going to get better once you get inside and you have smaller environments. But on the Pro, there is no issue like that, and there's it's called foveated rendering, where they take the stuff and you're like outside of the majority of your field of view, and they make it a little bit blurrier than the stuff that you're looking at directly. That is gone with the Pro, so everything is clear as if you were looking at it. And another marker of this is like in the loading screens. If you try to look, in your peripheral vision at the little loading icon in the corner, it's blurry. But then if you turned your head and actually looked at it, it would get sharp again. Now it's sharp even if you're not looking at it. That's a pointless detail, but it's a detail to express the fact that now everything in your field of view is sharp. And I think that really added to the experience of Resident Evil, that that foveated rendering kind of put something in between you and the game and helped you remember that, hey, I'm just in a game, and this resolution and stuff, it's a reminder that this is a game and I'm not really here. But man, without that, it's just terrifying. It was just terrifying. I was playing the Not a Hero, and this zombie or this mold came running at me, and I was just like screaming out loud in my living room, and I felt like an idiot. And maybe that would have happened on the original one, but I rarely had situations like that when I played Resident Evil 7 on the original PlayStation. So yeah, the Pro, for Resident Evil at least, was amazing. I know for Wipeout, it has some extra elements in like the environment and stuff, and apparently there's some extra effects that it does to the tracks. I'm not sure what the differences are, but I do know that when I play Wipeout in the Pro, I felt like I had a tendency to want to move my head around and look around more. It might just be that I'm getting more comfortable playing Wipeout, but I'm thinking that there might be something where the environments are more eye-catching because they're clearer, and then that causes me to want to look around while I'm playing more. So that's really cool. One weird thing about the Pro, and I don't know if this is just something with me or my TV, or if this is something to be expected, but sometimes things run a little bit slower on the Pro, I think because it's trying to output this higher resolution on my TV. So, like the main home screen, I'm playing that Area X theme that they have, and it kind of gets jumpy a little bit sometimes. It might just be because my Pro is downloading a game or something like that. I don't know. So I am wondering if maybe, pushing things out in full 4K and making it really dazzling is sometimes kind of taxing on the Pro. I'm not sure. But so far, what I've played on the Pro in VR has been wonderful and beautiful. I'm looking forward to trying out Farpoint and doing some of the sniping. Might give Bravo Team another spin. I'm not sure, because one of the problems with that was it was really blurry, and if this fixes that, that'd be really cool. And I want to try Dirt Rally, because that was kind of a blurry and pixely game, and I'd like to see what it looks like with the extra power from the Pro. So how am I doing? Am I selling you on the Pro, Adam, or are you not wanting to do it anymore?
Well, I mean, you certainly haven't hurt the chances.
Okay,
but
good.
I don't. Yeah, I feel like the changes you'd almost have to feel for yourself, because to me, like Wipeout already looks good. Like, it's not blurry, so I don't know how much better it could look,
So, do you remember when, like, HD TVs came out? Were you cognizant of that change when TVs went from normal to HD?
I mean, they all look a little different, but to me, I'm like, you know what? I don't have a 4K TV. I have something pretty basic.
But I mean, do you remember when that happened? TVs when they went from standard definition to high definition, not 4K, but just high definition. You remember that?
I mean, I remember what HTV looks like.
Yeah,
I didn't pay that much attention back in the day when they finally came out.
So, have you watched a movie recently on standard definition, or watched like a VHS tape recently?
I seen a YouTube video that looked like that. It looked like crap.
Yeah, so that's the thing. Like, when you're on the lower end, you can't imagine that it can look any better. I remember the PlayStation 2 when it came out, and I saw Madden on the PlayStation 2. I was thinking, wow, video games have reached the pinnacle of what the graphics are going to look like. They're never going to look better than this. And, that's obviously foolish, because games look incredible now compared to PS2. So, and, when HD TVs came out, I was like, well, that's stupid. I like the way my, pictures look already. I don't really care. Can't get that much better. And now if I try to watch something in standard definition, it looks horrible. And it's, of course, like, high definition is so much better. So I feel like it's a similar situation where, like you said, Wipeout, it looks great already. Resident Evil, it looks great already. It's not worth the upgrade. But I bet if you play the PlayStation Pro for like a week and then you try to go back to the original, you're probably not going to like it, and you're probably going to want to stick with the Pro. So that's what I'm thinking. I thought Wipeout was beautiful, and then I tried it in the Pro, and I was like, wow, this is noticeably more crisp and pretty and fresh, and it was great. It was great.
Yeah, I'm excited for some of the games. Like, one that if I switch, the thing I would be most excited for is like Monster of the Deep, the Final Fantasy game, the fishing game.
Yeah.
I have heard repeatedly, over and over, that in the Pro it looks so much better, like almost a different game. And with the original PlayStation, it definitely is blurry. The graphics are not good. They are not sharp. They're bad. Thankfully, the gameplay makes up for it because it's really fun and it keeps you on your toes, and it's an enjoyable game. But that, certainly some games I could see making a huge difference. And so for like an extra $100 like you're talking about, I might be enticed to do it because, like you said, if it does make a difference, it would be something that I wouldn't be able to just guess right now, and so then like it would be worth it. So I know, like we've talked in the past, that we're definitely going to do it at some point, and since you did it and you like it, that means a lot more to me than reading some of these other jabronis like online or Reddit. They're like, oh yeah, I love it. Because everyone has, like, you don't know these people. You don't know their expectations. You can't necessarily trust them. And I know for people listening, it's the same thing. They're like, who are these two guys?
No, they trust us, Adam. They love us.
Oh, do they? Yeah. Okay, I hope so. But so since you like it, that does kind of persuade me to give it a try. I don't think I have seen videos with the PS4 and the Pro going against on 2D games and people not being able to tell the difference. But since I'm not playing a 2D game, then I'm more likely to make the switch because no one who has played PSVR with the Pro has said it's as good or worse. It's always obviously better than the original. So I think that's probably why I'll try to go ahead and make a switch.
If you make the switch, I think you should maybe, like I didn't do this and I should have, keep your original PlayStation hooked up and then play for a little bit on the Pro, and then hook it back up to your original PlayStation and play some on that again, and just see if you feel like you've taken a step down in quality. And if you haven't, or you haven't noticed a difference, then maybe this isn't something you need to worry about. The other thing I think I should mention for you, though, specifically, is that the PlayStation Pro has 1 terabyte of hard drive space, and you've been working with 500 gigabytes. And so this will give you a lot more room. So if you wanted to upgrade the storage, that's going to be like $50 right there. So yeah, that's something that's going to help you out too.
Yeah, I was actually just ready to mention that because this is a good lead into our next little topic here. Is today it was a couple days ago, I downloaded Code 51 and I ran out of room, so I had to delete some more games.
Ooh.
So let's go play a little game of I deleted 4 games, Alex.
Oh,
Guess which 4 that I deleted from my PlayStation.
Oh man, you play so many. Let's see. I guess you don't have Bravo Team. You couldn't erase that. What are the games you've played? And I need to listen to the podcast to know what games you've been playing. You didn't delete Resident Evil, did you?
Dude, don't be a fool. Dude.
You probably deleted Eve Valkyrie a long time ago, right?
Yeah, that's gone.
Yeah, you didn't delete Farpoint, did you?
Nope, Farpoint is still there.
And these are all VR games, right? You didn't delete some random 2D game?
That's correct. They're all VR games.
They're all VR games. Oh, man.
Honestly, so there's two of them I don't think you'll ever get because they're not on your mind. One of them, people will be upset. I'll give you a hint.
Oh, Moss.
Yep, Moss got the axe.
Oh, boo.
Here's the thing. I was like, what game am I not going to play? And I'm never going to play Moss again. Not only did I think it wasn't that great, but once you know the storyline, I'm not going to go back and pick up all those shards. So I'm never going to play it. So
I think it's a good game to keep on hand to show people when they're playing VR. Maybe people who aren't super video game inclined. It's a game that doesn't require too much of you.
dude, okay, I agree with that, but that's not how I'm going to roll. I'm
Okay.
going to show them Stifled and Resident Evil and watch them pee their pants and run away with their tails tucked between their legs because they're terrified. Because that is what I'm about. You're going to be playing super hot, and you're going to be on the floor, and you're going to be sweating, or you're going to be scared. And I'm going to be making fun of you the entire time. That's how I roll, Alex.
That's how you roll.
Okay, so let me give you some hint. Actually, let me just tell you. There's no way you're going to get these other
Arizona
ones.
Sunshine.
Nope. No.
Okay.
So, Trackmania Turbo.
Oh.
So, we'll talk about this shortly, but the game is free for PlayStation Plus members. And so, I played it. It was cool-ish. I'll talk about it a little later, but it, because it's free, obviously, once you purchase it, you can just re-download it whenever you want to play it again. And so I was like, I'm not going to play this. There's too much stuff. There's too many other games. I'm not going to play it. So I got rid of it. Floor Plan, I got rid of it. And I really liked that game. It was a fun game. It was really enjoyable. However, it's one of those games that it's like an escape room game that once you know how to escape the room or finish the game, it has no replay value.
Yeah, you're
and
done.
It's not going to be one of those games where if you have a friend come over, they're going to sit there for 4 hours and try to beat the game. So it got the axe. And then finally Mortal Blitz.
Oh.
And it was a good game. I beat it, and it was fun. But there are a lot of other first person shooters that I would show people first before Mortal Blitz. And dude, I needed the room because not only did I get Code 51, but I also got Invisible Hours. I needed the space, bro.
Ooh.
Needed the space.
Yeah, I hear you.
True. So, let me tell you a little bit about Code 51. So, this game actually is coming out this week. Let's see, 22nd. It's on the 24th. So, it's going to be coming out 24th for, at least in North America. I think everywhere, but definitely North America. So, it is a fun game. It's very reminiscent of Rigs. So, Rigs, you're in those little mechanical contraptions and you're playing kind of sports related games while you're shooting at other rigs. So instead of calling them rigs, this game calls them mechs. So they're just like the machine that you're in. So these different mechs, you simply go and you attack and fight other mechs and other players and other bots. So unlike rigs, where you remember it had those sports games, it wasn't capture the flag, but it was capture the ball, and it had you had all those other games. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
Yeah, so this is simply just battling. There's no other ulterior motive other than you blow up the enemies more than they blow up you. So the game, it's pretty fun. It looks very good. I was very impressed with the way it works. It is designed well. Level design is good. It's not choppy. It's not slow. The load screens aren't bad. It's very responsive. It's well made. The only problem is that I feel that the game is the concept is the problem, not the way that it was designed. So when you move, I'll just list a couple of little issues. So when you move, they made it as if you really are inside the mech, which is a cool idea, but they were too detailed to where every time you move, it's very rickety. You hear the machine parts rubbing against each other, and you just hear the rickety sounding noises of a machine, which initially you're okay, well that's cool, but every single time you could play it for 2 hours and the sound still is there. It gets annoying after 30 minutes. You're okay, I don't need to hear pieces of machinery rubbing against each other all the time. So that's unfortunate. The other thing, and really control-wise, is the problem. the left analog, you use a DualShock controller. The left analog stick you use to move translationally, so if you want to move up or to the left or whatever. But to rotate, naturally, you're like, okay, let me use the right analog stick. But instead, you have to move your head to do it. But the problem with that is that to determine where you are shooting, there's a crosshair that you also move with your head. So, you essentially just the rotating isn't very good. It's not very smooth. It's kind of hard to rotate because you're moving your head, but then there's enemies there, so you can't shoot an enemy and rotate at the same time. The mechs are very, I don't know, it's a little weird. That ends up being a pretty big problem. The fact that you can't rotate and accurately shoot, and it's just annoying and a pain in the butt. It really ruins the controls and the visibility. It's just not fun. Like, why could you not just use the R stick? Are you, like, why? So the other thing are that the machines are very slow. They all have different speeds. So there are some that obviously have less armor but are much faster than other ones that are heavier but are really slow. But even the fast ones, like, they are really slow. Compared to rigs, it's essentially a very slow rigs. Rigs on, like, snail steroids. Like, it's very, very slow. Which, you know me, I'm not a guy for those. I want it to be fast, you know?
You're a slow man, Adam. You're a slow man.
No, I'm a fast man. I am a fast man. But it's just slow combat. The machines move slow, they jump slow, they shoot slow. It's like I said, it's designed well, just like I don't like the concept. But you can, with each match, you do, like, increase in experience points, and you can unlock new mechs. One thing they did very well is that it's only you can do a practice mode and you can do a multiplayer, but there's no single campaign. So the multiplayer, what they did well is that when there aren't any other players online, you get to play bots, which is so nice because if you've played Spark or you've played in VRFC used to have this earlier in its development. They've changed to having bots now. But the other games that require actual players and users to be in the game, like, if people don't play, you're screwed. You can't play the game, which is it's bad. But they had the foresight to immediately add bots as multiplayers, so I enjoyed that. I do wonder why there couldn't be a story mode. Like, this looks like the type of game, even the tutorial made it look like there was going to be a story mode, and I was a little disappointed in that. I mean, I guess they could add it, but if they didn't add a single player mode right off the bat, I have a feeling they're not going to. But, you know, it is what it is. But that's my thought in Code 51. I've played it quite a bit. I feel like I'm ready to write the review now. I'm going to try to have it out and publish it on the 24th so people can get an idea of whether they want it or not. It's a great looking game. It's just like a slow rigs. If you like the rigs, you want combat, and you're okay with it being very slow, then I think it's probably for you. Otherwise, I think there are other games out there right now that may be more worth your time, especially there's so many on sale, which we'll talk about here in a minute. But that's my take of Code 51. Do you have any questions, Alex? If not, you can start talking about your game.
No, I got some questions, Adam. Did you play multiplayer mode against people, or did you only play against bots?
So I only played against bots, which I guess is because thankfully Deer VR were very kind. They gave us a review code. So haven't seen anyone online. I've played quite a bit. So, you know, I guess there aren't that many reviewers out there. But yeah, I've only played against bots. I do wonder if you would be able to talk to people, or if you just play against them but you can't communicate with them. But so that's the answer to that question.
How good did you do against the bots, Adam?
I have yet to lose.
So I was gonna say, did you hate this game because you sucked at it?
Oh no, I especially So as you unlock mechs, they get better. I mean, obviously more experience, so they give you better machines. But they, oh yeah, I decimate them for the most part.
So maybe it's just too easy for you because it's bots, and I don't know. So watching footage of this game, it looks like a game I would love to play, and I'm okay with things being slow. There was some, they're like back in the day, Mech Warrior was a famous mech game, and it was pretty slow. But that slowness was nice because it kind of builds up attention. And I guess if you're playing against bots, they're kind of predictable, and it's not really that tense. But if you're playing against other people and you're both, trying to be strategic and moving slow, it could be fun. I don't know though. I'll probably have to play the game to figure out what you're talking about because it's true. If it, rigs felt a little bit too slow to me at times. So if this is like a slow version of the rigs, then it might be like way too slow. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I will say a couple things on that. One, it looks, to me personally, it looks a little more fun than it is to play. And the big reason for that, actually, honestly, the only reason for that is one, the fact you have to move your head to rotate, and two, it's so slow that there's not very much strategy. You can sneak up to people, but once you have, like, you look at somebody and you're both cognizant that you're there, you're so slow, you're not maneuvering. Like, you can't jump out of the way, or there's just no maneuvering because you're so slow. So then it becomes who essentially has either the combination of better firepower and heavier armor. So it really ruins the mechanic in rigs in which, yeah, you can jump and maneuver and dive and dodge, and this is just too slow for that. So, I mean, I don't know.
How big are the matches? How big are the matches? Like 4 versus 4 or 2 versus 2 or what?
So it's all player versus player. So you're on your own team.
Yeah.
I believe there's 5.
5 versus 5?
No, it's like 5 individual people going against each other.
Oh, okay. So it's not team deathmatch. It's just like normal deathmatch. Oh,
Yeah,
okay,
correct.
okay. Because I was gonna say if it was team deathmatch, then that would add some strategy to it. Man, I don't know. It sounds like they almost like a tech demo, like a proof of concept, and they didn't really flesh it out. That would explain why there's no story mode too, but that's not a deal breaker.
I mean, it's so well developed. Like,
Yeah.
it looks fantastic. The level design is great. It looks very good. It's just, I believe the concept is, it's just too slow. But, like, if they had the rigs mechanic in this game, it would be epic. It would be awesome. But unfortunately, it took, like, the 2 games, rigs is not enough about shooting. It is, I'm not a big fan of rigs. And then Code 51 took the good parts of rigs, but then slowed it down too much. But there is potential there. Obviously, the problems that they have, I do think, are fixable in patches. So if you like rigs, like I said, and you're okay with a little slower gameplay, this is fun. So it's better than it just not being developed well and there's no hope for it, because that's not the case here. It's just if those are your type of games.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, it's probably something they could patch out and make better, but it sounds like if they can, this could be a proof of concept for somebody else who's thinking, is a mech game possible? Obviously, a mech game is possible, so maybe they could use this as motivation to make something more, more satisfying, I guess.
Yeah. So, how about you tell me, I don't know, tell me about your balls, Alex.
Let me tell you all about my balls. My balls are amazing, Adam. My balls are amazing, and we're not talking. We're not talking
amaze balls.
We're not being gross here, guys. I'm talking about my amaze balls because the game I played this week was Super Amaze Balls by Brain Cells Production. So this is one of the situations where I'm glad that I get to review games, because this is a game. First of all, I don't really like the name. I hate the word amaze balls. It just bothers me for some reason. But aside from that, this is a game that I probably wouldn't have given 2 glances at if I saw it. But, we had the possibility to review it, and so I took it upon myself to look past that and come at this game with an open mind, and I am so glad I did. So right off the bat, this game is $4.99 on the PlayStation Store. I believe I read that right. I hope it's not more. If it's $4.99 on the PlayStation Store, then these guys know what they're doing, because this game is not a huge game. but it's not a bad game. And $4.99 is such a great price because what this game is, if you've played Monkey Ball or you played Marble Madness or you played the old wooden ball puzzle games, Labyrinth, then you know what you're getting into with this. It's a game where you have a ball and it's almost inside this giant sphere, and you got to guide the ball along this track and get it to the end. And the way you guide it is by using the move controller and grabbing onto portions of the sphere that the track is in and rotating the entire sphere to get the ball to move with gravity along the track. Sounds really simple. You probably, whatever you're picturing right now is probably exactly what it is, and you can watch a YouTube video. You could look at a picture, a screenshot of this game, and know exactly what's going on. So that's good. Everything functions pretty well. This game kind of demonstrates that, maybe we need to get better tracking on the PlayStation. So the next iteration of the PlayStation needs to have better motion tracking with the controllers, because sometimes it loses, depth as to which controller is in front of the other when I'm rotating these balls. So that causes problems in a game like this that needs a decent amount of precision. But other than that, this game has nailed the presentation. So if you have a game with a really simple concept, you can make the game and make it solid, make it fun, and it still doesn't really, isn't really motivating to play, and it isn't really exciting to play. But sometimes you can make a game and you can really make it fresh with good presentation, and you can really fine-tune all the details so it's just really fun to play. And this is a game that has done that. Super Amazeballs has this, I think it's called synthwave motif to it. So like if you're thinking of like 80s type stuff, almost like Blasters of the Universe, similar kind of like color motif and feeling to it, and a little bit like Battlezone. But you start the game and you're essentially standing on a platform in the middle of some futuristic city, and you have this ball maze in front of you, and you're supposed to move it around. And it's simple, straight to the punch, and you start working on it, and before you know it, you're just like going through these ball maze puzzles, and you're having a good time, and it's just challenging enough to where you're not feeling like the game is way too easy and you're not having any fun, but it's just what's the word? Just easy enough, for lack of a better word, to where you're getting some satisfaction out of it. You feel accomplished, and you continue progressing and have fun with it. The other thing I want to highlight is that the music in this game is wonderful, and there's somewhere like 5 or 10 tracks or something. So the music looped on me once when I was playing it, when I got like over halfway through the game in one sitting because I just couldn't stop playing. The music was incredible, and it's such a situation where it's like a lot of games, it's okay, and then once I get used to it, I want to just play Spotify in the background and listen to my own music that I like while playing this game. This is the reverse. I want to play other games with this game's soundtrack. That's how much I like the music. So the $4.99 alone was worth the price tag to introduce me to this music, which I think is actually by a musician who I think it goes by the name Honsonius or something like that. Honsoneous. I saw that in like a listing of the game, but the music's great. It's like, I don't know, it fits the motif of the synthwave. It's kind of like 80s remix type stuff, and it is wonderful. So you're sitting here turning this ball and getting it to follow along this platform and this maze, and it's really precarious, and the music is just thumping in the background, and it's adding to the tension, and it's adding a sense of gravitas to what you're doing, which is really a simple thing of just kind of rolling a marble around a level. And I don't know, man, it was really cool, and I love it. And $4.99 is a very, very small price, and it's a very fair price. This game's not going to be terribly long. In one sitting, I played maybe 2-3 hours, and I got like 3/4 of the way through the game. And so if I just basically next time I start it up, I'm probably going to finish it unless one of these levels just gets fiendishly difficult. But man, I had a great time with it. It's real pretty, it's real fun, and the music was awesome, and I'm really glad I played it. Adam, you have any questions?
Nice. Sounds like a pretty pleasant experience.
Yeah.
And I mean, even if it is, you say maybe you got 3/4 in it, maybe if it's 4 hours, that's for $5, that's pretty darn good.
Yeah, $5 for the 4 hours, and you get to listen to the music. Like, you're lucky to just get to listen to the music, man. It's so good.
So, are we talking Wipeout or Super Amazeballs? Which music wins?
Dude, Super Amazeballs, right? Well, okay, Wipeout has a variety, but I want to listen to the Super Amazeballs soundtrack while playing Wipeout. I'm going to try that tonight. I'm going to see if I can find the Super Amazeballs soundtrack on Spotify and listen to it while I play Wipeout because it's so good. I love it. I love it. And maybe nobody else will love it the way I do, but it was just everything was right, just right at that moment, and it was just so awesome. It was awesome. Maybe you should YouTube it when we get done with this, Adam, so you can listen to it. I have a feeling you'll enjoy it.
Is it like techno, or what type of music is it?
Yeah, man, it's like electronic, and I think this guy, this guy was listed as like a dubstep artist or something like that, which has a bad reputation. But I just dug it, man. It was good. It's like electronic music, kind of like 80s synthwave type stuff going on. I don't know how else to describe music to people, but it was good. It's good, and I liked it.
Nice.
It's not folk music. How about that?
Okay. Yeah, I'll go listen. I'll try to look it up because now you have me intrigued on this music because you're pretty passionate about the music.
Yeah, I've got your interest by the Amazeballs, don't I? I'm holding you by the Amazeballs now.
I love them Amazeballs.
So, Adam, enough of me ranting about this. If you're done talking, if you're done asking questions about it, I want you to tell me about the next game you were playing. You mentioned it earlier.
Yeah, well, I haven't got to actually play it yet, but on the sale, I saw Invisible Hours on sale, and so I talked to people on Reddit, and I was like, hey, is this worth the percent off? And because especially if after we were talking, if I was considering going up to the Pro, I don't have a ton of money. Is this worth it? So Invisible Hours is kind of like from what I can gather, it's kind of like a movie. So there was a crime, I guess, or a murder or something like that, and you get to see what happened from a bunch of different angles, and you have to put pieces together for the plot. I think there are different endings possibly, but everyone that on Reddit that answered my question in my post absolutely loved it. Not a single person said, it was alright. It was straight up totally worth the money. Buy it. People are very passionate, so I'm very excited to dive in. But unfortunately, I just have been too busy this week. I wanted to play Code 51 so I could get the review out. So I haven't been able to play Invisible Hours, but I'm excited for it. Hopefully, I will get to play it here this week some, and then can talk about it a little more next week.
Yeah, this game, Invisible Hours and Cold Iron, are the two games that are always at the top of my wish list. And I just never seem to have money when they go on sale. Like, I just dropped a ton of money to get a PlayStation Pro, so I shouldn't be buying more games on top of that. But this is a game I really want to play. I should just bite the bullet and buy it and play it. I know it was written by, I think, Rob Yescombe, who wrote some games that I really enjoy. I think he wrote some of the Time Splitters games, and he wrote Farpoint, which some people didn't think was good. I thought the story was great in Farpoint. I really enjoyed it. Just some of the writing, maybe the plot wasn't great, but the writing I really enjoyed. And, he was behind this, and it sounds like an interesting concept, so I'm interested to hear what you say about it. I'm probably going to buy it here soon and also play it, and maybe we can argue about how wonderful it is.
Let's do it. So, another thing also I wanted to talk about, which we tweeted out, and we were super excited, and I want to get your takes on this. So, Battlezone was the Rebellion, the developers of Battlezone, tweeted out something that was like, oh, we have a big opportunity and a big announcement this week. And so we talked, if you remember, 2 weeks ago, Alex, on how Battlezone could add a PvP mode or even a mode where it was multiplayer and you could fight against each other, and it would have been bomb. And so I was like, let's do it! I was so excited. I thought we were going to get it. But how about you tell us some of the stuff that's going on and what Battlezone Gold Edition, which is the big announcement, what that is.
Yeah, this is a mixed bag. I don't know how I feel about it because, like you said, we're really hyped. We really wish Battlezone would get some more recognition, and we wish that there was just more for us to do in Battlezone because we've kind of wore that game out. But yeah, Battlezone Gold Edition, it's basically really similar to what Eve Valkyrie did with the Eve Valkyrie Warzone rebranding that it did, where it took this game that was only VR and they made it playable in 2D. So that's cool. That means there's going to be more people playing, which I'm all about. But Battlezone is so great in VR. I don't know why you'd want to play it in 2D. Um, it's apparently May 1st. It goes live, and it's going to be a free update for everybody who already has Battlezone. So woohoo! We're going to get all this good new content for free. But the content can be kind of underwhelming. Like they're releasing all the skins and all the bobbleheads and all the horns and stuff like that.
By the way, that is some bull freaking crap. Like
Yeah.
last month, I paid. I mean, it was like $2, but I got new horns, and it was awesome, and I had to pay for them. You freaking bums, all the listeners, and you, Alex, you get it for free.
That's what I do, man. I just hang out and just get freebies, man. That's all I do.
You suck.
Yeah, so I mean, I've always wanted to buy a bobblehead, but it's like those other games I mentioned, I just kind of don't want to drop the money on it at the time, so I never get around to buying it. So that'll be fun, and I'll probably tinker around a bit. One, to play the game with some fresh blood, because every time I play it, I feel like I'm playing with the same people, namely you, Adam, and I'm tired of playing with you. And I'd also like to play with the bobbleheads and the horns, and maybe get a fresh looking tank. That might be kind of fun. The game's also coming out for the Nintendo Switch. I don't know if there's crossplay, but if there is, that'll be fun. I can blast some kids that are playing on the Switch, and they won't understand what the true glory of VR Battlezone is like. Yeah, so it's nice that we're getting all this stuff for free and that there's a wider audience, but I was so hyped when they said they had a major announcement. I thought for sure there was going to be like a new level or a new game mode or something. But no PvP, no new levels, nothing new like that, so that's disappointing. Hopefully this will push things over the edge, and it'll revitalize interest in Battlezone, and they'll might be motivated to make a Battlezone 2. I don't know. If there was a Kickstarter or some way I could just write them a check and say, hey, this check is just so you guys feel like you should make a Battlezone 2, I would do it. So yeah, what do you think about this, Adam?
Yeah, I too was pretty disappointed. I really thought. I don't understand why there isn't PvP. Why can you not put 4 tanks in there and have them battle to the death? I don't understand. It's such a simple concept. Other games can do it. If you do it as a first-person shooter, the mechanics in Battlezone are easier than that. I don't understand how they've missed this. And it's not like no one has asked for it. You go on Reddit, you go on Twitter, you go on other threads. People are clamoring for it. Everyone wants it. Like I don't understand how they're missing this. So I guess maybe they've been thinking, what can we do to increase sales and make more money? That's the only thinking that could make sense, right? Instead of making the game better for those who already have it, we'll alter it so that more people can have it, buy it, and then we'll make more money. Maybe that will lead to them making another patch where it is PvP or something. But I mean, I'm glad they haven't let it go, because this was it a launch title, or was it at least one of the very first games for the PSVR, right?
Yeah, I think it was a launch title, yeah.
So I was afraid that it was done. They did their thing, they were happy, and they were moving on. So it's nice to see that they're kind of coming back and changing something, but honestly, yeah, I was pretty disappointed. I didn't even tweet a response because I was just like, you kidding me? Because to us, I don't care about skins, bobbleheads. The horns are kind of funny, so I could go up to you and honk honk. That's cool. But yeah, I was disappointed, but I feel like also my question is here. This is separate. So that's Battlezone Gold Edition. It is what it is. It comes out on May 1st. And, it's free. Take the upgrade. Play with some more people. It should be fun. But my question now, Alex, and I'll get your thoughts on this just in general, and then I'll say what I have. So, one, I believe we all agree, as PSVR owners, and probably even those who don't, playing Battlezone in VR definitely is going to be more enjoyable than on 2D. So I feel like that's not even really a debate. Like, it's more fun in VR. I feel like that's pretty obvious. But do you think it will be harder to play in 2D or in VR? So if we're playing against people who are playing just on a flat screen or on the Switch, do you think there's an advantage there?
So the game doesn't require you to really look at anything to lock on or aim your gun or anything like that. So that's probably not a huge issue. I guess they're going to lock your vision to wherever your turret is, I guess. I'm not sure. So the game probably won't be any harder, and as a result, it might be a little bit easier on a flat screen. But I don't even know if the game would be that fun on a flat screen, because part of the fun is like the intensity of having your tank feel like it's crushing in on itself whenever you're about to die, and the boosting around and the seeing all the tanks right in front of your face. So I don't even know, but I hope people like it, and maybe people on a Switch playing Battlezone for the first time, maybe people really like it and they clamor for more content, and then more content gets released, and hey, guess what? Now we have a patch that has another level or something like that. That'd be cool.
Yeah, I feel like definitely. Honestly, I don't know. I feel like in VR it would be a little easier because, so yeah, you're right. You move the turret for the most part. You're looking ahead, but sometimes I look up and I look around, and so there's that little peripheral vision that you see one of those little
Drone
guns. What are those little things in the air that fly around? The little ones that
it's the drone.
A drone. That's right. So you can look up and see a drone coming from overhead. Whereas you couldn't do that in 2D. I mean, you're right. I think it's a very minimal difference. But I also feel like if you look at Thumper, in 2D, you wouldn't think in VR that would help in Thumper either. But in 2D, it is so much harder than it is in VR. I don't exactly know why, but I've tried it in both, and I suck amazeballs in 2D, but in VR, I mean, I'm not wonderful, but I definitely can hold my own and I can beat the game. So I'll be intrigued to see what the difference is and what people in 2D think about it, but I do think it will increase the amount of people playing and kind of revitalize it. I really enjoy Battlezone regardless, so I'm going to hop on, play some more either way, but, it's kind of a cool thing, but it, again, no PvP, kind of sucks, but yeah. So how about right now we take a break? We've been almost talking an entire hour already, Alex.
Woo!
Woo woo! So if you're still with us, we appreciate it because that's impressive listening to these two buffoons for that long. But we'll take a break. Come back, talk about the new games, talk about the games on sale, and then briefly hit a fan-suggested topic. So stay tuned. We'll talk to you on the other side of the break. Yo, dog. It's Play PSVR, the podcast again, dog. It's gonna be a no for me, dog. But you put your heart in it. Who was I, Alex?
Well, I think you were Paula Abdul from American Idol.
Oh, so close. I was the one with the bigger breast.
What's his name? Randy? Is that his name? Randy?
Yeah, Randy.
Is it Randy Jackson?
I almost said Randy Jackson, but I felt like I was gonna get made fun of if I said
it. That's the wrestler too, isn't it? Macho? No, I'm thinking of Randy Savage. Oh, I'm an idiot. Okay.
Dude, that's bad. Is it? Here, I'm gonna look it up right now, real quick. Sorry, listeners. I need to know if his name is in fact Randy Jackson.
Also, he lost a lot of weight.
And yeah, it's Randy Jackson. He's 5'8", 61 years old. And his spouse is Erica Riker. So
putting him on blast.
There you go.
Putting him on blast in the podcast, Adam.
Let's do it. Also, holy crap. Wait, actually, maybe this isn't as racist as I initially thought. I saw a thing that said, "Are Samuel L. Jackson and Randy Jackson brothers?" And I was like, that is the most racist thing. But then I was like, oh, okay, they're both black and their both names are Jackson. So I guess maybe that's not as racist as initially.
But no. Are they?
Well, now I gotta check, right?
Well, welcome to Are They Brothers podcast, where today we're exploring the relationship between Randy Jackson and Samuel L. Jackson. We promise to get to the bottom of this.
So it says that he is not brothers to Michael or Samuel L. Jackson.
Oh no. Okay. Well.
Although Michael Jackson does have a brother named Randy, it's just a different one.
Hey, that's part of the way there.
That's right. Okay. Also, I mean, I'm sorry, but we gotta finish this now.
Yeah.
There are 4 other questions about Randy Jackson that are the most popular that people ask on Google. Do you have any idea what they may be?
How tall is Randy Jackson?
Ooh, close, but not quite.
How much does he weigh?
How did Randy Jackson lose all that weight?
Oh yeah, how did Randy? Yeah, okay. Adam, I'm really tired of the Randy Jackson podcast. Can we move on?
So the answers were: how much is Randy Jackson worth? Why is Randy Jackson famous? How did he lose all that weight? And who's the youngest brother of Michael Jackson? So that's that. But you're right. This isn't PSVR related. I apologize, listeners. But you know what? Sometimes it just has to be.
I want a Randy Jackson VR game now. This is it.
You just lose weight and say no, dog. It's a no for me, dog.
It's just people handing you like cake and cupcakes and like fatty foods, and just you constantly saying no, dog. That's gonna be a no for me, dog.
But someone slipped in some kale in there. Yeah. That's a yes for me, dog.
Say, I'm really feeling it, dog. Yeah, that's a yes for me. And then the bad food comes out and they get it. No, I'm gonna have to go no, dog. No, dog.
Oh, that's good. Okay, so back on track. So we will talk about the new games that are coming out this week. We have a bunch of them. So the first one is Code 51. I already mentioned it before, what it's about, so I'm just going to kind of skip over this one. It's Code 51. You've heard about it before, so I'm going to move on. Get the next one, Alex.
Dead Secret, a first-person horror game set in the 1960s. Someone died, and you have to investigate and figure out who dies. There are 5 different endings.
So this game, what I'm going to talk about pretty briefly, looks very interesting. It kind of almost reminds me of Invisible Hours, which again I haven't played either game, so that's just going off my very limited knowledge. But it looks like it could be a very good game. I'll be interested to see how long it is. The fact there are 5 different endings is cool, and I think can increase the replay value. I think it's one that I definitely may check out because it's an interesting idea, concept, and if done well, I think it could be a real good one for the PSVR. So the next game is Dream Angling. So essentially, the plot is kind of weird, in which, so it's a fishing game. You actually fish, and there are challenges, and you have to catch a certain number of fish, specific fish, blah, blah, blah. But while doing that, you are unlocking memories while you're in a dream. I get it. It's a little weird. I don't know how those two things go together. It's going to be interesting. But like I said before in other podcasts, I like Final Fantasy Monster of the Deep. If somehow we get a review code, I'll definitely play it. I don't know the price on this bad boy. It's coming out on the 24th, but I don't know the price. If it's cheap, I'll probably also buy it, but it's definitely an interesting concept. So, unless you have something to add, Alex, you can hit us with the next
Yeah,
one.
I think just or the Dream Angling game. Yeah, it's something I'm really interested in. Just the idea of a fishing game that's all about finding your memories sounds really fun. But it could also be one of those games that's a bit too janky for its own good. So no, I'm interested in it. It could be really fun. The next game is Just in Time Incorporated. You're an agent trying to stop disasters, and this looks like it could be a unique and fun game. The name rings a bell. It sounds like a game that I've played before, but I can't remember what it is. But yeah, I mean, agent trying to stop disasters. Do you know anything about this game, Adam?
Yeah, so it did look pretty fun. So essentially, there are people getting run over or shot, or it's kind of very blocky. It's supposed to be like that. It kind of looks like Minecraft, like people that are made in Minecraft. And there are just all these other disasters, shootings, people getting run over, people jumping off the ledges of buildings, stuff like that. And you're an agent, and you're just trying to prevent those disasters from happening.
I'm watching a trailer of it right now, and it looks pretty hilarious.
Yeah, it's definitely a more fun-hearted game. It looks like it could be funny. It's definitely very playful, and so I think that it looks pretty good. I'm excited for this one to come out.
You're gonna hate when I say this, but at first it kind of looks like Special Delivery in just terms of the graphics.
No, no. Yeah, you're right though. It does.
Yeah, it looks really fun. Looks really fun.
I hope that please don't. Oh, don't drop a turd on us, please. Oh, don't make me eat it again. I mean, special delivery. They put a special delivery in my mouth. That's what they did. I'm gonna keep moving on.
Move on.
MLB Home Run Derby VR. So if you're a baseball fan, get ready because we got 2 baseball games coming out, which I think is nuts. First of all, baseball in VR should definitely happen, right? Like, it's a very easy game to program and would be so easy in VR. But we don't have one yet. How? And then we get 2 in the same week. So that's nuts. So we got MLB Home Run Derby VR. And we got, I'm going to butcher it, GQ Powerful Pro Baseball 2018.
You did all right, GQ, yeah.
GQ. So the Home Run Derby is literally only hitting home runs. There's no pitching, no running, no strategy. You hit a baseball, you try to hit a home run. Pro Baseball 2018 seems to be a little more in depth, but again, it's baseball, so if you're into sports, neither of them are like Madden, where it's very detailed and it's very realistic. Like you're still playing with cartoon characters and things of that nature, but I mean, I feel like a baseball game would be one of the first sports games out. Like, how did a basketball game is coming soon, but how did like a boxing and a soccer game come out before baseball? Like, are you kidding me? I don't know how that happened, but hopefully these are too expensive because especially the Home Run Derby doesn't look like it's going to be that much content. I mean, how much fun is just hitting home run after home run going to be? So hopefully it's not expensive, but if you like those, look out for them. One is coming on the 24th. The other is coming on the 28th according to their website. So look for those.
Yeah, I don't know about the GKO one. It's like a really cartoony one. It's a long-running series in Japan, and I have a feeling that the VR component of it might be one of those things where it's like you can see what a baseball bat looks like in VR, but the game itself might be flat. You know what I'm talking about? Some games do that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So I'm afraid it's going to be something like that. But if not, if they actually put decent effort into it, that could be really fun. Like it's almost like a Mario Kart version of baseball, which could be really fun. I think, especially in VR. The last game we have on the list is Rage Room. It's a game where you destroy dummies and beat the crap out of them. You punch them and hit them, and I think you chainsaws and stuff like that. Just kind of, I guess, take out your aggression. Looks pretty fun. I think I only saw one environment in the footage that I saw of the game, but if they pull it off and if they give you proper challenges and stuff like that, it could be a really fun thing. So, we'll see. We'll see.
This one so I'm trying to think. And while I talk here, try to think of what game you're looking most forward to out of these. I would say that one to me is the least intriguing out of all of them, just because it's very redundant. You're just beating up on it's like a crash test dummy, and you just beat the crap out of them. Like it could be fun initially, but I feel like it's gonna get old really quick. And it's not like the drunken bar fight where you're going up to people and you're like punching them and it's funny and glitchy and stuff. Like, I don't know. I just feel like this one has the least potential of them all. I hope it's not very expensive because I feel like it is going to get tedious and monotonous. But, I mean, I could be wrong. Hope I'm wrong, but that one I'm looking least forward to.
Yeah, so there was a game that I played on an Android tablet a long time ago called Little Inferno, and the whole game was just picking up things on the touchscreen and sliding them into like a fireplace and burning them. It's really simple mechanics, and it seems really dumb, but man, that game was so fun, and it was so addicting, and it was like had like a really good story and stuff. I don't know, so sometimes a simple mechanic, if done right, can be really engaging and really fun and really fresh. So I'm hoping they have something to it besides just you being in a room and getting to, hit a dummy with a baseball bat. Because I don't know why they would make that game then.
Yeah. So which one of these are you most looking forward to?
Well, I was most looking forward to Code 51 until you kind of until you dropped a special delivery on it. I might,
dude, that is a new metaphor. I love that.
Yeah.
I love it.
So I really like different games, so maybe I'd still like it. So I'm probably going to try it out at some point. But other than that one, I'd say my favorite one I'm looking forward to is probably going to have to be Just in Time Incorporated. The video is too hilarious. I can't ignore it. It looked hilarious.
All right. Yeah, I think mine would be Dead Secret. Like, I love those horror games. The crime is like up my alley, and at 5 endings, I feel like it could be a ton of fun. I really, the graphics look good. It looks like it's well developed from my untrained and unplayed eyes, but the Just in Time Incorporated, I feel like it definitely is going to be funny, but I feel like that just isn't necessarily my type of game. So I'm looking forward to Dead Secret. Hopefully get to play it. Hopefully Just in Time Incorporated also isn't expensive, so you can buy it and we can get to play that one too.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to them. So up next, Adam, let's do this. A lot of games are on sale right now. I think it's the double discount time, so I figure we should just run through the list of the games that are on sale, and if you think any of them are particularly worth getting, you can say it, or if you think any of them are particularly worth avoiding, you can say it. So do you want me to just run down the list and you can tell me what you think?
Yeah, you can add your comments too.
Oh, I'm definitely going to.
I feel like a lot of these we've both played or we both haven't, so
yeah,
it should be quick.
Okay, first off, Carnival Games VR, $14.79.
I feel like that. I don't know. I feel like I put a post on Reddit once whether to get Pierhead Arcade or Carnival Games. They both seem pretty average.
Yeah.
I'm going to skip on this one. I don't have it already. I don't think I'm going to get it, especially with the list of games we already mentioned. It's hard pass on me, bro.
Yeah, I already have Pierhead, and I have other games. There's just so many games out there. I don't need more casual stuff just thrown into it. I'm sure it's a great game. They had a big update and stuff recently, but it's not for me. So it's going to be a no, bro. I'm sorry. Up next, Cold Iron. It's discounted 60% down to $7.99. Adam, what do you think? Should people get it?
Bro, yeah. Yeah, it's a hard yes on me, bro.
Hard
especially
yes.
for you since you were looking at it.
A really hard yes. I'm gonna try to sell a kidney or something and get this game, even though it's not that expensive.
I mean, it's $8.
I didn't say it was gonna be my kidney. It's just I'm gonna get some somebody's a kidney from something like a mouse or something.
Oh, dude, you're gonna go find a pig kidney and be like, hey, $8. Also, if you don't know, Cold Iron had a recent update. And so there are a couple different aspects of the games and modes and then also I really think at some point they're going to have a player versus player duel mode, which I mean honestly that would put it over the top and make it a lot of fun. But yes, $8, totally worth it. You should pull the trigger.
Oh, ha ha ha, ha ha ha. Up next, Gunjack, $1.99. Adam, have you played this?
I haven't, but it's because the other, what was it? I forgot. There was another game that was very similar, and I thought it was okay. Also, I didn't like Valkyrie. $2, you can't beat that.
Yeah.
But honestly, time is more important than the money, and I just wouldn't have time to play it, so I'm probably going to pass on it, but you can't beat that deal.
Yeah, if you like it, I heard it likened to a VR version of Galaga, where you just basically have waves of enemies coming in and you try to kill them all. It's pretty fun. $2 is hey, that's another VR game you can play, and it's got a decent length to it, and it's pretty fun, so I'd recommend it for $2 especially. Shoot, I got it for $5 and I was happy. Up next, Killing Floor Incursion, $23.99. So this isn't the double discount game. It's just a game that's coming out pretty soon, and so it's got that PS Plus discount where it's 20% off. But Killing Floor Incursion, it looks awesome. The Killing Floor games are pretty popular, so I don't know whether to recommend it or not because I haven't seen what the reviews are like, or we haven't touched it yet. But I'm sure it's going to be really fun. So I'll give it a mild suggestion. No. whatever. I maybe. There we go. Maybe.
Yeah, I feel you.
Merville's a VR adventure. I've heard mixed things about this one. It's kind of like a lower quality Zelda or something like that. $7.99. That's not too expensive, so I might pull the trigger on that one. I'm in for something kind of weird and indie.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna pass on it. It looks a little too cartoon. It's like the VR cartoonish, not like the just in time incorporated.
Yeah.
It's not like pixelated or Minecraft like, but it's a smooth cartoon type of game. It's just not my type of game. I'm not gonna get it. $8 is a good price, but I know I'm not gonna like it. It's gonna be a hard pass on me, bro.
How about Raw Data for $23.99?
So this, it's of the games that we've talked about. I mean, I guess Killing Floor Incursion isn't quite out yet, but Raw Data. This is the most expensive game on sale. Everyone loves it. I don't really see the intrigue, so I would have to do some more research. I haven't played it. I don't know that much about it. I mean, it's a pretty good price. It's on sale, but yeah, I would have to do more research. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't really like the demo when I played it, and I think maybe something was wrong. There's some reason the demo just didn't seem to work, and it didn't. The fact that the demo wasn't feeling good compared with how everybody else said the game was so good, something might have been going on. But $23.99 is a lot. I could get like 4 games off this list for that price. So I don't know. Hey, when it's $15 or something, then we'll talk. But $23.99, I gotta hold off. All right, how about Space Rift for $5.99, Adam?
No idea. Never played it. I actually, honestly, don't know anything about it.
Yeah, me neither. But I think I looked into it once because it was cheap before, and I decided not to get it. So I don't know if anything's changed. So yeah, a question mark for everybody. There you go. Spark. It's discounted 60%. I don't know how much that is, Adam, but it's probably pretty cheap. You have Spark? What do you think?
It's a pass for me, bro.
Yeah.
I'm not a big fan of Spark. I don't think it's that fun. I think Hollow Ball was more fun, especially now that there are less people playing Spark. I didn't really like it. It was a waste of money for me. It's actually another game that if I haven't deleted, actually I'm almost certain I've deleted it, but if I didn't, it's somehow sneaked by because I'm going to delete it the next time I need space.
Yeah, I think this is one of those games that it's only hope at really being successful again is if it's like a free PlayStation Plus game, and then I'll definitely play it then. But right now, I don't know if the user base warrants the price. Up next, Sprint Vector and $17.99. This is a game I already have. I just haven't touched because I'm an idiot and I'm bad with money. What do you think, Adam? Are you wanting to get this?
So I'm definitely intrigued by this, and honestly, it very well may come down to, do I decide to get a PS Pro in case I won't have the money to buy this, or if I don't, I may get this. So I've obviously heard amazing things. You played it a little bit and liked it, I think, didn't you? Or have you not played it at all?
I've not even started it. I downloaded it. I just haven't touched it. And now that Wipeout's out, it's like, man, do I want to play a racing game that's not Wipeout? I don't know. But I should probably mess with it because I bet it's really fun.
Dude, what a bum.
Yeah.
But yeah, I know you sweat a lot, which I don't know if I necessarily want to do, but everyone loved it, so I feel like at some point I definitely need to give it a try. And this might be the week.
Might be. Up next, Static for $7.99. Hey, that's pretty cheap, and I've heard a lot of good things about this game. How about you, Adam?
Yeah, I've also heard great things. I played the demo, liked it quite a bit. Honestly, though, I feel like if you haven't had it at this point, then it's probably like you weren't that interested in it to begin with. And I do feel like if you wait long enough, it's going to be either a free PlayStation game of the month or it's going to be even lower than that. So that's my take.
Yeah, it's cheap and it's probably pretty good, but I'd suggest it. But I haven't played it all the way through. I just played the demo and it was really fun, so maybe I'll do it. Star Trek for $19.99. Adam, what do you think?
I'm not a Star Trek guy. I know it's not all Star Trek, and there's some teamwork, and yeah, I know you don't have to be a Star Trek fan to like this, but I've got too many other things to do, too many other interested games. I'm gonna pass on it.
Yeah, I'm gonna pass on it. I'm really interested in it. I'm really, really, really interested in this game, but I just don't know if I would enjoy playing it without being a bigger Star Trek fan. So I don't know. Maybe when it drops down, I'll take the plunge, but just not right now. Invisible Hours, Adam. You already bought it, 50% off. Do you think I should?
Yep.
Should I buy it too?
Well, since I haven't played it, I can't tell you. But I
Ah.
can tell you, based off that Reddit post, everyone loves it. I had a lot of passionate support for it, so I'm looking very much for it. And if you're gonna do it, right now I think it was $14.99. Then I mean, it's the time to do it.
Yeah, this is a rare game I haven't heard anything bad about, so I'm kind of maybe I should do it. I don't know. I don't know. I'm indecisive. Up next, Time Carnage for $15.99. This just came out, so maybe it was $20 when it came out. $15.99. That's a pretty low price. What do you think, Adam?
Yeah, we talked about this before. It's another first-person shooter. And it's one of those that's like a wave shooter too. I don't mind first-person shooters, but I'm kind of getting sick of the wave shooters. I'm gonna skip. I think we've already talked about many other games I would rather have, so I think I'm gonna skip on this one.
All right, Trackmania Turbo free.
So that one, duh,
Yeah.
you're gonna get it.
It's-
So I will mention one thing I didn't really like about it is that you play as the car and you're behind the car playing as if like you're behind a Hot Wheels car and you're driving around, and then in only certain times you go into a VR mode where you're inside the car, and you switch back and forth. I don't like that. I mean, it's free. You gotta get it. But especially with like Wipeout, with Drive Club, there are much better games out there. So I would get it, maybe try it, but you're not gonna play it for very long, especially if you've played Wipeout.
yeah, I haven't tried it yet. I want to try it though because I like the original Trackmania. Last game, Vuri VR, Feel the Wild, $3.99. You gonna do it, Adam?
No.
I heard bad things about it. I think it's basically just like a glorified YouTube video. So I'm gonna dodge it.
Yeah, I mean, you should. $4 though.
Dude,
Because in the Pro, it's going to be a lot better than it's going to be on the original.
maybe
So,
it might not be. It might just be a YouTube video that they called an app.
Could be. I am not sure. I'm going to pass on
Yeah,
that,
me
though.
too. Me too. All right. Well, that was fun, Adam. Hopefully, you don't break your wallet too much on these games. Do you want to talk about our next little segment?
Okay, yeah, so we want to briefly talk about a fan-suggested topic. The Abo Chi mentioned any type of Western VR game is what he wants to talk about. So, this, Alex and I took in two different situations. So, excuse me. I believe what my first idea of a Western VR game was like the Old West. Like John Wayne, I got snakes in my boots. And so the only real Western VR game I can think of off the top of my head, Alex, is Cold Iron, right?
Yeah,
I mean, Arizona Sunshine kind of has that out west feel to it, but it's not like a true Western where you're dueling and that stuff. But other than that, those are the only two games I could really think of. I've already mentioned Cold Iron in previous podcasts, and we have a review of it on the website. I absolutely loved it. Again, $7.99. You guys should get it. It's 60% off. It's a beast. I like the idea, the fact that you're dueling people, and they just made it very intriguing. And I feel like I don't know what else you could do in a Western VR game that Cold Iron hasn't done. Like, Cold Iron took, like, what would a Western VR game, what would that look like, and what would be the most fun aspects of it? And they did it, and they did it well. So I don't know what other improvement that someone else could make on what Cold Iron has already done.
no, there's definitely improvements you can make. 'Cause, I mean, if you think about a game like, if you probably haven't played it, it's called Red Dead Redemption, and it's almost like Grand Theft Auto, but in the Wild West. And that's a really fun Western-themed game, and there's lots of fun stuff like you hunt wild animals, and you ride trains, and you rob banks, and you ride a horse and tame a horse and stuff like that. You get in really big gunfights, and there's different guns, and there's all sorts of fun stuff. You play poker and stuff like that. So there's a lot of things you can do with a Western style game that I think could be really fun. Like, hey, you play a dueling game and you add a little poker mini game into it, and then maybe you add some kind of I don't know, horse riding component to it. That could be really fun. So I'd like to see that. But yeah, what's out right now just sounds like we have Cold Iron and we have Arizona Sunshine, which if you play it with the Move controllers feels more like a Western. But the way I thought maybe he was talking about this, because there's only one game that seems really Western, is maybe he's talking about like Western developers. So in the, especially with like games like RPGs, there's like Japanese RPGs like Final Fantasy, and then there's Western RPGs like Skyrim. So maybe he's talking about Western developed games like Skyrim and things of that mentality. Yeah, there's a lot of good Western developers out there. Where actually, I feel like there's not that many crazy Japanese style games. There's like, Mash Kyrillite, and we're seeing a lot of weird stuff on the Japanese PlayStation Store, which is, like almost just glorified commercials for stuff. But due to the, relatively independent nature of a lot of these PSVR developers, we're seeing a lot of Western development coming on, a lot of stuff coming out of Europe, and a lot of stuff coming out of North America, and so that's really cool. But then again, we do have a lot of these Chinese developers pumping out things like Code 51, and that's good to see too. But in terms of Western development, hey, Skyrim, and things like that. I guess Skyrim's the big one I can point to. I know definitely that's a Western developer. It's a Western RPG, but I like seeing those games in VR, and I'd like to see more of them. But yeah, I don't know what else to say about it.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's the games between Western developers and not I just feel like pretty. Some of them are very apparent. Like Code 51 is not from Western developers, and when I play the game, I can kind of tell. But I'm trying to think of a good way of describing how the game mechanics and how it feels. Like it's, I don't know.
Yeah.
Like you could tell that something like, okay, like someone from China or someone developed this. Like you don't need to have a name like, Jikyo, powerful pro baseball, to make it obvious that someone from, non-Western world created it.
Yeah, I think it's part of it is like these games that are coming out of China are like extremely polished and they look really good, but maybe they lack some of the technical aspects that we take for granted in a game industry that's been developing for the past 30 or 40 years. The Chinese development scene isn't anything huge, at least nothing that we see over here. It's not a huge scene, but they're getting bigger, and maybe they pick up on some of the stuff that we take for granted. They integrate that into their technical prowess, and you might see some really great stuff. So, like you said, if you had like some good single-player game design implemented with the mechanics of Code 51, you might have a really special game. So, hey, there you go. A little East meets West. Maybe we can have these guys work together and make something really special.
It's like a yin-yang situation.
It's like a yin and a yang.
It's like a Randy and a Jackson.
Like a Randy and a Jackson, dog. All right, enough about that. Do you have anything else to say about that topic, Adam?
I think I'm good. I appreciate the fan topic, and again, we're up. We will gladly take any more that you guys have. Be in contact with us. We'd love to hear from you.
Yeah. So up next, Adam, you wanted to talk about a little something else?
I think we've talked enough.
Okay.
At some point, people probably. I mean, we could ramble on for hours, Alex. But I feel like at some point, people are going to be like, you know what? I can't take any more of these guys.
Yeah.
Because we'll just end up talking about Paul Abdul now.
Yeah, That's the next logical step for Simon Cowell.
Oh, yeah. Oh. I don't know. Which one do you want to talk about first?
The next. So I think we ought to just close this thing out. Forget this. Forget this. So basically, I think we were going to start talking about some hardware stuff, some accessories and stuff, and we'll bring that up later. But we were going to talk about that, but I think we're going a bit long. So you want me to just close this thing out, Adam?
Yeah, do it.
Yeah, I gotta get done with this so I can start playing with my ball. I mean my amaze balls, so I can get done playing with my amaze balls after this. So yeah, I think that wraps things up, Adam. Thanks for listening to PlayPSVR.com, the podcast. As always, listeners, you can get in contact with us on Twitter at PlayPSVR, and we're active on the PSVR subreddit where our name is PlayPSVR. So hey, if you see us on there, go ahead and say some mean things to us or say some nice things to us. We just like talking to you guys and interacting with you guys. We're also on Facebook if you can find us on there. And guess what? It's PlayPSVR. And as usual, of course, you can see all of our content at PlayPSVR.com. So please visit us. Please, like us, follow us. Give us some information about what you think about what we're doing here, because we love all the criticism. I even like hearing bad criticism because it either makes me feel introspective or it's at the very least, it's really funny. So anything you guys throw at us, we'd love to hear it. Adam, do you have anything you want to say?
I'm just going to go back to my amateur life.
Yeah, I want you to go back to your amateur life, and I hope you can dream tonight about what it's going to be like if you ever become a professional PlayStation VR user like me, a real PSVR pro. Yeah. All right. Well, good night, Adam. Good night, everyone. And good night, PlayStation.